There are a lot of people who think there aren't any good single-player games out there, and then there are some who just can't choose which to play. And whichever group you fall into, we're here to help. That's why we have compiled a list of the top 10 single-player games of 2023. Number 10. Dead Space Remake. Dead Space is a new 2023 survival horror video game, a remake of the original 2008 game. It's set in space in the 26th century and follows engineer Isaac Clarke, who's on his way with his crew to repair a massive ship that has suddenly gone silent above a planet. But on the way, their own ship gets attacked by horrifying creatures made from mutated human corpses. We have chills just talking about it. Our player, Clarke, has to try to save himself and his crew while figuring out the truth behind their mission and exactly what these necromorph creatures are. It's fast-paced and has all the best parts of any video game. Number 9. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order gives you the ability to be just like the characters we grew up admiring, the Jedi. In this game, you play as Jedi Padawan Cal Kestis, who becomes a target of the Galactic Empire and is hunted throughout the galaxy by the Imperial Inquisitors. He has to do all of this while dealing with trainings and his own personal demons. Oh, and he also has to rebuild the fallen Jedi Order. Sounds like a lot? It is, but it's also a lot of fun. You get to use lightsabers and force powers, defeating enemies across 5 planets. May the Force be with you as you play.
Flame beetles, they're coming through the wall. Hit their nest.
Number 8. Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is the next game in PlayStation's hugely popular Marvel Spider-Man franchise. The first game dominated the internet for months, and for a good reason. It's played from a third-person perspective, focusing on our favorite neighborhood Spider-Man and his life. You can freely move around the entirety of New York City, swinging from buildings and running on walls. And of course, there's a lot of combat, and a lot of cool suits and gadgets. The second game is set to focus more on Miles Morales, and you can shift between him and Peter. Number 7. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
Did it. Asked to choose my reward, I invoked the law of surprise.
The fantasy series so good that it went from a book to a video game and now to a Netflix TV show. Yes, we're talking about The Witcher. There are currently 3 main standalone games and a new series is in development. So it's the perfect time to get involved in this world of magic and monsters. Our top recommendation is the third game, Wild Hunt. You control the main character, Geralt of Rivia, one of the last remaining Witchers on the planet, who slays monsters for money as he searches for his adopted daughter. She's running away from the ominous Wild Hunt, which is a large group of specters that roam the skies and are omens of disaster. Fascinating, isn't it?
Let me finish telling it.
Number 6. Hades. Hades is one of, if not the best roguelike video games of our time. It reimagines the Greek mythology we know so well, and it is so addicting. You as a player control Zagreus, the son of Hades, who's tired of living in hell or the underworld and wants to escape to reach Mount Olympus. And so you go through a series of random rooms filled with sorts of enemies and obstacles. All the gods of Greek lore also descend and give you buffs, helping you through the realms. You do die a lot, which returns you back to the beginning in the underworld. But it is this exact series of trials and failures and stunning art that keeps everyone glued to the screen. As we said, super addicting. Number 5. Red Dead Redemption 2.
But trust me, we
We all love a good cowboy story, and we especially love to play as cowboys. And the Red Dead series is one of the best ways of doing that. All 3 games in the series are great, but the best is Red Dead Redemption 2. The story is set in the United States during 1899 and deals with the end of the famous Wild West era and how cowboys, specifically our main character, Arthur Morgan, deals with the corrupt government, rival gangs, and a whole lot more. The game is written very well, and all the side quests come together and tie nicely into the main plot. There are robberies, hunting, horses, and massive gun battles. Doesn't that sound so exciting?
Stay strong. Stay with me. Yeah, love yourself.
Number 4. The Last of Us. One of the highest rated games of all time and holding several awards is the popular action-adventure survival horror game, The Last of Us. Yes, this is the game behind the hit new HBO series of the same name, currently watched by millions in 2023. The Last of Us is set in a post-apocalyptic world where most of the population is infected with a mutated fungus called cordyceps, which turns them into scary cannibalistic creatures that are almost like zombies, but much more terrifying. In the game, you control Joel, one of the few survivors who has to smuggle a young girl, Ellie, to scientists who believe that she's the only cure for the fungus. Along the way, the two meet a lot of threats, have some cool fights, and get jump scared by a lot of different types of infected monsters. There are 2 parts, and you better hurry up and play them before the show because they are both worth it. Number 3. The Legend of Zelda. The entire Legend of Zelda franchise is, well, as the name says, legendary. This action-adventure game has been around for almost 4 decades, but it just keeps on getting better. In this game, you play as our main character Link, who's on an unending quest to save Princess Zelda, and while the story is incredible by itself, it's the beauty of the game's world, Hyrule, that really takes the cake. There are several different versions and chapters of this game, but the one we recommend the most is Breath of the Wild. This game launched on the Nintendo Switch and quickly became people's top games of all time. And in 2023, there will be another addition to the Zelda universe, Tears of the Kingdom, which is shaping up to be one of the biggest new releases of the year. Number 2. God of War.
The prophecies say Fimbulwinter leads to Ragnarok.
Arguably one of the best games of the past few decades is PlayStation's God of War. It's set in a Norse and Greek mythologies-inspired world with gorgeous visuals and a simple but captivating story. The unique thing about the game is that it's all framed as one continuous camera shot. How cool is that? You take on the character of Kratos, whose strength itself, but as strong of a warrior as he is, his life is consumed by vengeance, and later on, he struggles to form a good relationship with his son. The dialogue in the game is simply superb. It almost feels like a movie at times. And the fight scenes are incredible. You can choose from any of the 8 God of War games to play, but it's best to start from the beginning so you really understand Kratos' story. However, if you want to play the best ones, then God of War 2 and Ragnarok, which is getting a new Game Plus this year, are our recommendations. Number 1. Elden Ring.
Pillagers, emboldened by the flame of ambition.
We haven't taken the decision to place Elden Ring at the top spot lightly. This fantasy action role-playing game is a recent release, first launched in 2022 and became an instant hit. In the game, you can freely roam through the open world of Lands Between, moving through ancient ruins and lands of the undead. Sounds cool? It is! You can choose any character level you want, and each comes with a unique set of spells and equipment, which you will need a lot of. Elden Ring is famously very difficult and the lore of the game is just endless, but this is a more positive thing than it seems, because you get to spend ages immersing yourself in this well-designed world, making weapons and of course, fighting a lot of demigods. The conversations about Elden Ring never end. So there you have it, the top 10 single-player games of 2023. We truly believe that these are the best of the best, so do try them out. Maybe you'll find a new favorite. And of course, there are some games that are huge right now that we didn't mention, but that's because they didn't quite make it to the absolute top. Let us know in the comments below which of these single-player games will you play and why. We love to hear your choices. Also, let us know which topic we should cover in our next video. Goodbye and take care.